He ran through. He coming to B.
I'm at B.
Please do. Please do.
Oh, he came all the way.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Oh, you talking about the back way?
He came back way. I'm looking.
I got him. That's for my brother.
Okay.
I'm in the tunnels by Charlie.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Okay, I got a cluster strike. What side you want?
Put that boy on Charlie.
Charlie.
Put that boy on Charlie.
Okay.
Alpha.
Alright, yeah. That's cool.
Good down.
Right on Charlie.
No!
Okay, sorry.
How?
Sorry, please.
Bruh!
I'll come right. I'll come right.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, No Fame, letting you know that you can still rep his name even while you game. Man, I am back. You know, the last video that we put out, we talked about the fact that I unlocked Damascus. I know it took a little grip, but we did it. And so now I decided I'd come back and give you an in-depth view of what you need to do to how to unlock Damascus as well. Now, this is part one of a two-part series. So I'll be covering about half the weapons here and then the other half in the second series. So make sure you're on the lookout for it. As a matter of fact, if you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, because that way you know when I drop it, man. I know you say, man, it's May, but listen, man, I know you still got this on your to-do list, so let's go ahead and knock it out together. Go ahead and join the street team, man, and while you're at it, since I know this is going to help you out, make sure you smash that like as well. Alright, without further ado, we'll jump right into it. Don't worry, you get back to seeing me smash out in that highlight clip in the background in just a moment. It's just a little highlight from my stream, man. We stream every Friday and Saturday at 10:30. Come on and join the street team, man. It's pretty lit. So we're going to be looking at the assault rifles, the SMGs, the shotguns, and the LMGs. And we'll just talk about how to breeze through these things, man, so you could be on your road to Damascus and knock it out. So, the first class, the assault rifles, it's the biggest class, man. There's so many weapons that you got to get the gold camel for in order to make that class platinum. But there is one that you don't have to do, man. You do not have to do that graw. And yeah, you can go ahead and do it at the end, but don't worry about it. Now, the next set, the SMGs, man, you got to do all of those but the striker. Don't even worry about that striker for now, because you're just trying to get Damascus, and then you could go ahead and clean up the rest later. So, if you want to go ahead and you want to do them shotguns next, there's a couple things I want to recommend on the shotguns. When you're doing the shotguns, try and stay on them smaller boards. I'm going to tell you this. I know it's a temptation for you to do it, but fight that temptation, man. Do not go through and try and get two weapons at once with overkill, man. Just don't do it. It's best because I tried that at first, man. It's best if you go through and focus on one weapon at a time. The reason why I say that is because a lot of these things you're going to look at the camos needed for it, and most of them, if you just go through normal gameplay, you'll get, but there's some ends that you'll need to tie up at the end. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it's gonna be tough to try and remember which ends you're trying to tie up. So the only ones I would say to use in concert with each other are maybe the launchers or maybe some of the pistols, but don't focus on two weapons at once. I'm not saying you're not smart enough. I'm saying it's better if you focus on one weapon to make it that much faster. So with the shotguns, it's best if you focus on those by themselves, and two, if you go ahead and make sure that you're on one of those smaller boards, because running around with a shotgun, you can catch them corners, and if you got to do what you got to do, you got to, but it's a whole lot easier for them smaller boards. Once they bring, you know, like a shoot house or shipment back, you could do it that way. Hard Hat isn't really a small board, but you could focus right now. If you're watching this video right now, is the time I'm making it, they got clean up on aisle 9. Use their shotguns in there, man. I know it's not hardcore, but you'll still put people down in there. So the shotguns, and then last the LMGs. So the first three categories that I meant, or the three main categories for normal weapons, SMGs, assault rifles, and LMGs, you could treat them boys the same way. You're gonna go through, you're gonna get your kills, you're gonna get your headshots, you're gonna get your crouch kills. You gotta focus yourself on mounts. And remember, when I told you this before on some other ones, man, for mounts, man, I go through with the smoke and the thermal and the deployable cover. If you're not using those, man, you playing yourself. It'll make it a whole lot easier. So those things you need to do. The 3 kills without dying, man. As you get proficient with the weapon, man, you'll do that. You'll do it easily. You can actually do that. You can help out with it when you're doing the mounties. So for those 3, they're really the same weapon, the same strategy. Really, I used a lot of that strategy for all of them, but these weapons are kind of similar because all of them, you know, they spit. Now, I told you if you're playing hardcore, you can switch some of those weapons to single shot. We talked about that in my tips for hardcore videos. 2 parts to that, man. Go ahead and check that out on my channel if you haven't seen them. But those 3, you could do the same. And so then you got left those shotguns, man. You know, you don't have to put slugs in for long shots. Let's say, for instance, for that 7.25. But you can go through, man, a lot of these weapons. I chose to do this one first on part 1 because these weapons are the easiest to do and the most fun. They're not as tedious. On the next video, man, we're going to be talking about how we can do the rest of them, the marksman, the sniper, and all those, and some of the pistols and launchers. Those are a little bit tougher. But for this one, you know, like I said, I want to go through these classes. And I'd say this. If you haven't done it in a certain order, if you haven't gotten a certain class, you know, platted out, as I say it, what you can do is that you can go ahead and I'd say focus on one class at a time. Now, some of the things when it comes to this going for Damascus, man, it's probably gonna drop your KD. It probably will. Unless you're just a G like that. The reason why it will is because you're going to be working with a lot of weapons that maybe don't fit your playstyle, and we talked about that before on some other weapons. But that's all right though, man. After a while, you're going to master these weapons, and that's really what Damascus is about. It's saying that you were able to master every weapon, so that means you're nice and versatile, and that's cool. Now that I've got Damascus, man, I run around with some different weapons I haven't even played in a while. Some weapons, man, I've golded out and I ain't touched them since. Because, you know, I was on that grind. Some I'm finding out they may be a lot more fun than I thought. And that will be the benefit of it. But for these, I think I would suggest, if you haven't platted out any one yet, of these 4, I'd say, because right now they don't have shipment, go ahead. The SMGs are the easiest ones by far to go through. They really all are about the same weapon. Most of them, they do not. It doesn't have too much variant in how it pull up or how it kill. Some of them are way fast enough. Like the MP7 is like the fastest firing rate on the game. Then next, in my opinion, I think is the Bison. And then from there, man, you know, take your pick. MP5 is the most versatile. So you go through those weapons and you're having a lot of fun with them because they're easy. They're spitters. When you're going through them, you might want to think about the field upgrades. You might want to think about adding some ammunition on your field upgrades instead of just the fast running around, you know, the dead silence. Some of those things are things you want to keep in mind when you're going to grind to get Damascus. And then once you get that weapon knocked up, man, get to the next one. These, I didn't have to go through any special boards. I didn't have to do anything special. I just got to play the normal game because the very first weapon that I golded out, it was the PKM, and then from there I went to the M4, and then, you know, that's when I started going back and forth. So my suggestion to you is to go SMGs. Then if we get a shipment, a shoot house back, then go to shotguns. I think that's how I did it. Then I went through the assault rifles and then the LMGs. I'm gonna tell you, man, when it comes to LMGs, you do not have to do that Bruin. I don't even think I unlocked that boy. The last one I did was the one that was the most tedious, was the MG34. So I mean, I guess it depends on how you want to do it. You could do it that way, to do that one last, like me, man, get it out the way, or you could go another route and do that boy first. It's cool, but you know, out of all the LMGs, it's not the most fun to play with. I probably won't be going around trying to have fun with that one. So you could do that one, man, and I'm telling you, for most of these weapons within these classes, you should have a lot of fun with the shotgun, man. You go around blasting cats, you have a lot of fun with, because people are really upset when you hit them with that shotty. Now remember my tips. If you're playing hardcore, one of the tips was you need to play with friends. And the reason why you need to play with friends is because it'll make it a whole lot easier for you to run around with some of these weapons and to mount some of these places where you need to mount, because then you know where your friends are. You got people covering your back and your side and all that good stuff. Another tip while we're at it, while you're doing your mounts, man, make sure you slap on the Claymore proximity, man, because you want to stay alive the longest, man. You want to get all these kills out the way. which is why I told you guys before, and I know I'm not the only one, I recommend, if you can stomach it, playing hardcore. It'll be a whole lot easier, man. Right now, man, I'm going through weapons that I didn't have to gold out because they came later in the iteration, and man, it's a lot of fun. I'm seeing them boys, they just the camos are just dropping down, man. They raining down, man. As a matter of fact, if you stayed this long, man, listen, I'm gonna throw in some highlights at the end of this and me messing around with this SKS, because I didn't know, bro. I got the utility tool from that battle pass. That SKS is fire. As a matter of fact, be on the lookout for an SKS versus EBR, because I think they're really similar. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the research in for you, man. Tell you which one, you know, is better between the two, man. You know, we have some fun with it. At any rate, this is what we got, man. These are the 4 classes that we're gonna deal with today. On the next video, we're gonna wipe out all the rest of the classes because they're really easy. So if you stayed this long, man, I appreciate it, bro. Go ahead and drop that like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, man, so you can know when part 2 is coming out, man. Now, as promised, man, I got some of them highlights from that SKS utility tool variant for you to check out. Go ahead and watch it, man. No commentary, man. Just me putting in some work. Now, you watch that, and I'll see you on the next video.
Falling behind. Regroup. UAV ready for deployment. Enemy VTOL jet in the AO.
Welcome to the AO. Copy. UAV beginning flyover.
Enemy inbound. Lock and load. We're in the lead. I'm in the cross. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy cruise missile incoming. We've got it.
Enemy UAV entering the AO.